I'm gonna be sketching a little bit while we wait for everyone to come in. Oh, well, got this page. Hope everyone's doing well. Hello, hello, what's up? Just gonna be doing some practicing, anatomy practicing. What's up? We got 51 people in right now. Good to see you, good to see you. I've been doing a lot of perspective practice recently and breaking down the human figure into some very simple shapes, as you can see here. I'm doing a lot of that because I'm sure many of you guys heard me during like my videos recently drawing some of my pages and also during some of the streams. I've been saying that I've been feeling a little rusty. So yeah, when I'm feeling rusty, I know it's time to fall back onto some fundamentals, just what I've been doing. Got 73 people in here. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. Trying to get everything a lot more fluent than it has been, basically. Look at some of the chat here. I see. Somebody said, Ace said, Kuzo, how do I deal with tricky angles? Someone says 2 truths and a lie. I wonder if they're saying that they would want me to do it here. I'll probably do it in my next real-time video that I put out. As some of you may have noticed, I haven't been on social media for a tiny bit here. I'll get to the tricky angles one, but I wasn't on social media for a tiny bit for the past few days, and a lot of it. Oh, let me get back to my music here. A lot of it had to do with, like I said, I felt rusty, so I actually decided. Let me see if this music's good. Oh, yeah, this is good music. I decided I wanted to just take a step back and go back to my fundamentals and rehash some of them out. I'm gonna be giving like pictures of this stuff for my Patreons, but doing a lot of studying from one of the books I have, and just really getting back to my fundamentals, because like when this kind of can tie into what that guy said, or the question was, how do I deal with tricky angles? And the thing about tricky angles is if you don't know how to do something, the whole point of fundamentals is your base. It's the thing to fall back onto if you don't know what you're doing. That's why it's always, when in doubt, fall back onto the very things that literally create art. Like, so if it's an angle, perspective is what makes angles. So if you're having a hard time with an angle, knowing your perspective would be very beneficial. Let's draw some, let's pull out some. I've only been practicing 1-point perspective, which there's a lot to 1-point perspective. There really is. And that's why it's like when you get to 3-point perspective, there's way more, but I still have a lot to learn with 1-point perspective to get everything to be really fluid and very well produced, easy to do. Oh, let me get my phone back over here. So I'm gonna make this a slight 3-point perspective. Oh, if we want this to be more like this down here, so I'm not gonna do this. So the whole reason why I changed that is because if you have perspective line like this and you want to do 3-point perspective, it's best if you create this triangle instead of creating a lopsided triangle. That'll create distortion. I was on my way to making a lopsided triangle. Even if your camera is right here, it's better to follow the proper perspective lines, because it can turn out to be really weird otherwise. Anyways, let's draw a head here. Try to get a song going. Yeah, I guess we'll do that song. A bit too long of a box. like I said, I haven't been drawing 3-point perspective. I haven't even been drawing 2-point perspective. So this is going to be a little different for me. Yeah. I mean, technically you just follow the lines, but it can sometimes be a little more than that. I actually have a perspective tutorial, or just like a little bit more advanced perspective with 1-point perspective that I did for my Patreons about a month ago. That was fun. And I plan to do something similar to this with them again, where I'm just going to be doing a bunch of thumbnails with them like this and explaining more of what I'm doing. But yeah, this is where it can get a lot more complicated. And the point where there starts becoming like massive distortion is if I keep this here and I keep on drawing people in this angle, you're going to find a lot more distortion here. That's actually incorrect. This is where that's important, as you saw me just do there. This is actually, where's my ruler? Oh no, wow, look at that. My first line was correct. Do you remember? I erased right there. That was my first line, and then I went and tried to correct it to that. That's funny. Okay, so my first line was correct. This is where getting used to like drawing freehand, like doing these lines and then freehand drawing boxes like this, as long as you have some guidelines at first. This is why 2-point perspective is even hard to do this with, to start off with. That's why I always recommend doing 1-point perspective, to just get used to like following, looking at this dot and following the dot. Just looking at that dot and really just following it all over the place. And once again, like I said, I recommend doing these lines for someone who's trying to really just get the hang of this. Because if you do this a lot, your mind starts getting used to basically knowing if you see a square, cube, whatever, like this, and you've done so many of these perspective practices, if you see a cube like that, your mind's going to connect and be like, oh, I've kind of seen how far that is away from the vanishing point before. Even if your camera is cropped here, you've done so many of them that you know that it's roughly, your perspective's roughly going to be over there. It really helps with that. And if you've drawn so many of them, it becomes a lot easier to then gauge where you're going to be putting in the next one, and it becomes easier to actually draw these things too. It's just all part of the process of learning. And honestly, this is probably the most tedious steps to learning how to draw really well, because I remember this is like some of the most painful stuff for me. Like even what I'm doing right now, I got a comment, I think it was like today or yesterday, or it was within the past few days, that the perspective I did in a video, they said that I made it look way easier than it actually is, even though I'm just sitting here drawing like in this perspective. You want to take it slow at first. If you try to go fast, even if you try to go at my pace that I'm going right now, it can mess you up if you haven't done it enough, and it might just make you frustrated. I'm even getting frustrated right now because I think I might be not thinking hard enough about. Nope, I messed up on the. I didn't think about the hips. I talked about this actually in the last video. Where the hips need to be. This is torso, middle, how there has to be a balance here. And typically your hips are like angled. If I were to do them in boxes, it would be kind of like this. But your hips are always angled a little bit because of the way we stand. I didn't really do that here. I don't have to make them so wide though. Technically they would be further down. I mean, it's based on that line. Should I try to do that? The distortion's gonna get really weird, I can already tell though. Let's give it a shot. This is the learning stuff. No, that's so far down. That's so weird. Really? So where his neck touches down. Say this is the bottom of his. Huh. I think I might have messed up on that somewhere along the line. It's interesting. Let's. This is where the learning comes in, but this is also very, like I said, a very distorted. This isn't a very normal angle you're going to be at, because the moment you get over here, watch what happens when you try to draw a normal square. It becomes this abomination. Look at this. This is why this isn't going to work properly. It's going to look all weird if I try to do this. So me doing this right now is almost irrelevant. Like. This isn't going to help us, but it's good to know that the reason why it's not going to look like a normal human figure is because it's getting distorted. Because if I actually follow the bottom of these rib lines here to the top, which is right here, we're looking at something like, this is the bottom, these are the two lines. We're looking at something like this. Like, that's so crazy. To distort it like that. I don't know why I would do it like that, so. But if you just look how weird this part of the box is following this, it makes sense. Look at it, it's all fudged up. It's all fudged up. But it is what it is. I think I might just move on to something else here in just a second. Weird, man. I don't like this distortion stuff. I might have to do some practice on this to see something interesting. I try to do the best I could without completely doing like measurements and stuff. Interesting. All right, anyways. All right, I'm gonna look in the comment section. What's up, 168 people in here. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. Kuzomari. Did you ever draw a JoJo character? No, I have not drawn a JoJo character. I want so much to draw a body. Drawing full bodies are hard. Someone said, how old was I when I started taking art studying seriously? I mean, I really started trying to get better at drawing when I was about at the age of like 17 to 19, but I didn't really understand what I was doing to try to get better until I was about, I was a late bloomer. It's about 24, 25. I didn't take the seriousness of perspective. I didn't take perspective seriously and all the fundamentals seriously until I was about 25. It was funny. It's funny. I was actually published with a company at that period of time. So it's like, it's not impossible to be decent without knowing that stuff, but to really get to the next level, it's like, there's some things you have to know. Like, you can kind of get by. That's why cartoonists work without actually having to know, like, even as much as a manga artist would. They might focus their skills on other stuff like compositions and like contrast. But they'll probably still know the fundamentals decently enough. But if you ask them to draw a figure like this in perspective, they might not be able to. Not all of them, but I'm sure some of them could. What the heck is this guy doing? I have no idea what he's doing. Anyway, welcome everyone who has come in. You could just pretend it's like Haikyuu or something. This is completely random. That was a very loud sound, sorry. I'll actually go over this for us here. me come in. Where's my cap for this? Let's come in with some blue and I should have done with the lighter blue. Basically coloring in all the end spots that you'd be able to see. Like the under spots. Did that. 194 people in. Good to see everyone. Someone said, this reminds me of Haikyuu. They just finished it. That's cool. That's cool. Someone said, finally made it to 1. Good to see you here. I'm glad you made it. Someone said, damn, you're good. Well, thank you. It's a lot of practice. Still got a lot to learn myself. Everyone always has room to improve and grow. Especially there's like, you know, differences between like knowing how to draw angles like this and also knowing how to make a character design. Someone said, do you still do commissions? I'm not currently taking commissions. I'm just kind of going with the flow right now. I kind of just want to do my own stuff at the moment. I need to check something here real quick. But no, they're not open currently. And mostly because I want to focus on doing streams and YouTube channel stuff and manga stuff. And I haven't done any manga in like almost 2 weeks, because what happened was I started getting on the TikTok thing, and so I did some stuff with that. Then I took a step back and I was like, I wanted to, like I said earlier on in the stream, there's a lot of new people here too. So like I said earlier on in the stream, I wanted to basically tidy up some of the stuff that I felt like I was very rusty on. I'm gonna draw some more here. And I've been doing a lot of studies. I've been doing just a lot of perspective practicing. I actually don't like the positioning that. Kind of doing like a below angle right now. Over 200 people here. Good to see everyone here. Super awesome. Just trying to really focus on this here right now. I'm not putting the head all the way up. I was thinking about having him look down at us. So the head's going to be close to normal, but not completely normal. But I think I will draw one with the head turned up a little bit more. in just a second. Oh, my legs. Wow, I'm sitting crisscross. It hurts. Turn on some more music here. Ooh, that was a real wide turn there with that arm. Cool stuff. Bam. I like that, so turn it on again. It's more of a manly head, though. That was an alarm. That means my laundry's done. Basically, I didn't practice this type of stuff enough during the time when I was sick earlier this year, and I'm still not doing so well now, but I've learned how to move forward with it. But I wasn't doing this type of practicing. I was just trying to get work done, and you would think basically practicing like this is very, very important. Very, very important. Got to keep your mind sharp. Oh, by the way, I've been watching a lot of Lord of the Rings, so if I break into weird deep voices like that, that's why. Bargain worth. Just like, I don't know, just random voices. I watched all 3 Lord of the Rings, and then I just also watched all of the Hobbits. That's actually what That's why I drew this little, basically anime hobbit with his big feet. But yeah. Oh, love Lord of the Rings, man. Just looking at some comments here. Oh, I got a super chat. You didn't say anything, Black Stars, but thank you a lot for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Someone said David Fitch uses Bridgman. I heard the name Bridgman. I actually don't know who he is, so don't shoot me for that. I don't know who he is. I know I think it has something to do with art. But anyways, I'm gonna draw some more of this. All right, let's just go ahead, and we're at 37 minutes, 198 people. Good to see everyone here. Thank you everyone for being here. Draw a square, turn it into a head. The other step that we don't talk about very much is how important it is to mix what you see in your mind with what you see on the paper. It sounds dumb, but I've said it in the last stream. I'm not going to go into what I meant there, but basically you can draw. Sometimes you can draw based on a line you do on the paper, and then from there you kind of just build things off of that without actually using your imagination, and it's basically just drawing off of what's there. Then there's the idea of drawing something and then thinking about it, kind of like receding into your imagination and then kind of building it and then drawing from that. And I do feel a lot more confident with my perspective recently because of the practicing I've been doing. Definitely have been feeling much more confident. And basically one of the points of like doing so much of this perspective practice and all these shapes a lot is because once you get good enough, and there was a point where I was good enough to do, I'll give it a shot here in a second, do this, but it's where basically I would be able to set up something like this. Like a very, very basic outline of something. And then I would be able to go in and then just straight ink over it. And I can do a little bit of it now, but I'm talking about an ink that I would actually be able to use. And see, I'm actually going fast with this, and if I were to take my time, I might actually be able to hone this type of skill, but I don't think I am almost ready to do it again, but I think I'll be a little closer to being able to kind of do this technique where you just lay down the basic here and then you just ink all over top of it. It saves so much time, and it's a level that's hard to get to. And of course, like, there's people who can do it before they're ready, but it won't look as good as when they're fully ready to be able to do it. Because, like, when you look at this, it's not the best ink. If I was a little slower with it, it could have been better, but it still wouldn't have been good enough for something I would want to keep in my manga, I would have to say. So there's something I still have to work at. And basically, you would end up knowing the perspective of everything and how to draw clothes so much that you would only need like rough guidelines to keep yourself going, basically, on it. Let's see what everyone is saying. You guys are having own little fun conversations over there, which is totally cool. Yes, I'll continue on this one. do another little attempt at that just there. That was fun. I've also been trying to get a lot more confident and fast at just being able to draw that general front view. Trying to get much more confident at it. So this is kind of what I've been working on, is now see how much more confident. You guys have probably seen me in some of my other streams or my real-time videos draw something similar to this. I drew this in easily under a minute. And this is kind of what I've been trying to get at, is I've been trying to get it to be super simple to just get this out. And sometimes it's hard to do that. I don't even know if maybe, let me see if there's any that I, there's not really any super big examples here that I could show you, but it was definitely there for me, but that I got it down to much less lines. And this is basically when what I'm trying to get to be the thing where I have it down in very little lines for as many poses as possible, as many, I can think of. Let me try to think of something in my mind that I would want to draw. And see, I wasn't as confident in some of those lines. This is the whole point of practicing all this stuff over and over and over and over again. Nowhere near as confident as those lines. But if I can get even the more complicated poses down very simply, the creation process is also much easier. But that's not to say that you shouldn't start creating before you can even do stuff like this, because that will just hold you back. If you feel like you just create. Like, if you feel like you want to do something, because if you think you're going to wait until you're ready, you will never think you're ready. Trust me. You'll never think you're good enough. I never think I'm good enough. Still. Okay, it looks like his hand is like coming up and grabbing this dude in the crotch. Gosh, what? How does this stuff happen? Oh my gosh, we're already at 41 minutes? I mean, 51 minutes? Holy crap. Well, dang, that's how time flies, right? The heck? Just look at some comments. Someone said, how do you do gesture drawing? That is something I am not as familiar with. I know how to do gesture. It's as trying to make a pose as flowy as possible, basically. Finding it's, you're trying to make it as gestury as possible, and I'm not the best person to ask about it. Like, if you want to get a better answer on how to do good gestures, like this is my version of a gesture that I just did right there, or something like this. But you can look up how to do gesture drawing on YouTube or something. But that's my version of a gesture. It's pretty much just trying to get the flow of it very fast and very few lines, very curvy lines. And it really does help you break out of, like, once you learn this stuff, helps you break out of this stuff a little bit and be more free with your work. But yeah, in any case, that's probably gonna wrap it up here. It was super fun doing this. I was a little bit more quiet in this one, but I was really trying to just do the practices that I've been doing recently. I'm actually almost done with this book. I'm actually gonna, when I'm done with this book on one side, because I'm doing it one-sided, and then I haven't been doing it on this side, I'm actually gonna flip it around and start drawing on this side, because I want to fill up the whole sketchbook and not waste any paper. There's no use in wasting paper. But in any case, it was super fun being here with you guys. Thank you everyone who has come in to this stream today. And definitely looking forward to doing another stream soon. Definitely want to stream much more frequently, like I've been saying, like twice a week at least. And super fun. Some of it's going to be manga content. Some of it might be stuff like this. But in general, it's going to be all drawing stuff. But yeah, super fun. Hope you guys are having a good day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.